Hi there, it's Jaya, New World Sex Educator, creator of the Art of Female Self-Pleasuring. I'm a somatic sexologist, and this is my report of day 64 and 65 of my 101 days of self-pleasure. Continuing on in my week of very late night evening sessions where I'm feeling very frustrated because I'm not having orgasms and I can't get out of my head, I decided to further my involvement on fantasy and kind of seeing if I can distract my mind with thoughts of sexiness instead of thoughts of work. And went into this book, In Sleeping Beauty's Bed, which is a bunch of erotic fairy tales. And I read two fairy tales, the dancing feet, what was it? Something about the shoes that were danced to pieces, and the ebony horse, which is another sort of like an Arabian Nights fairy tale. You know, when I haven't read much erotica, but when I read erotica, it's kind of like I expect it to be a little bit naughty, a little bit more taboo. And I would say I have to give this book more of a chance because I've only read two of the stories in it. But the thing that I really wanted some naughtiness, and instead I got things like they were dancing. It was sort of alluding to sex, but not actually like stating what was happening, or their panties got very wet. And so I wanted a little bit more realism and not so much allusion to it. And it seemed like all the characters were also virgins. So that was also interesting, is that, at least in the two fairy tales that I read, it was as if everybody was very innocent and didn't know what their petals were that were happening down below, or the swelling or the smells of these forbidden red spots that are happening between the woman's nether regions. So I wanted a little bit more, a little bit more of like penis in the vagina kind of type stuff happening instead of petals and flowers, and that was me. And I have to read more, so I have to give this book more of a chance. So after the erotic fairy tales, you know, it did actually help me get out of my brain. I have to give it that credit, and get into my sensuality a little bit more. So did some genital stimulation, but just was feeling very frustrated again because it was late at night and I didn't want to be up all night. I really needed to get some sleep, so I just did some genital massage on myself, visioning rose petals between my legs. Speaking of rose, the following evening, this is funny. So I was on Playboy Radio before I get to the Rose Balm, and somebody gave me some homework. My homework assignment was, thank you, Jeff, for that homework assignment, to do some phone sex. And I thought, that's really interesting. I've never done that, nor have I really heard of many women incorporating phone sex into their solo sex. So I wanted to do a little research. And when I got home later at night and I just had a little bit of time again, got on and did some Googling phone sex. And what's interesting is that a friend of mine, Betty Dotson, she's also a sex educator, awesome woman, one of the queens of clitoral stimulation, especially during self-pleasure. And she had a phone sex line on her website. I guess one of her friends owns a site for women. And so I haven't called it yet. I definitely will report to you when I do the phone sex session, because I completely am committed to doing it. But I wanted to do a little bit more research before I actually did it. So for my self-pleasure, although the phone sex idea sort of got me a little aroused, so that, you know, something new, something exciting, that's fun. So I went into the bathroom and thought, what am I going to do for my self-pleasure? And I saw the Blossoming Rose breast balm laying there. And I was looking at my breasts in the mirror and they just looked fabulous. And I was like, I guess I should massage them and treat them to a little love tonight. And so I did some massage on my breasts with the balm, some nice kneading, so just cupping my hands in C's and doing kneading, and then doing lots of circles around both directions, and then doing nipple stimulation where I was stretching and taking nice deep breaths. A lot of this comes from the White Tigress practice, which is rejuvenative practice for the breast tissue. So I was also doing some stretching and pulling and moving in different ways and adding kegels to that as I was doing it to kind of add a little bit of that juice and connect it in with my pelvic floor and my genitals. So that was fun, actually, being in front of the mirror and just kind of watching my breast massage and just loving my body, because I was really kind of into the visual stimulation of seeing my breasts and seeing how great they looked. So I enjoyed that session, even though, you know, I wasn't having my orgasm in my clitoris. It was okay. Actually, it was great. So you can give me homework, 101daysofpleasure.com or my site, newworldsexeducation.com. See you next time.